They laughed when my husband slapped me in front of 600 people. They had no idea that one phone call would destroy everything they had spent decades building. Subscribe before the truth. My name is Natalie, and for 10 years I believed love was stronger than money, status, or family wealth. I worked as a historic property consultant, restoring old buildings and preserving forgotten landmarks, while my husband, Brandon, built his reputation as an executive at his father's prestigious investment firm. I never cared about expensive jewelry, luxury cars, or elite social circles. I only wanted a husband who loved and respected me. Sadly, his family never saw me as an equal. To them, I was simply the ordinary woman their son had settled for. Everything changed during a lavish anniversary gala attended by more than 600 of the most influential people in the city. Politicians, business leaders, celebrities, and wealthy investors filled the ballroom. As everyone raised their glasses, my father-in-law took the stage. Instead of celebrating the company's success, he decided to humiliate me. He proudly announced that his son had rescued a woman with no status, no connections, and no value, calling me nothing more than a family charity project. The room erupted with laughter. I searched the crowd for one person to defend me. My husband looked straight into my eyes, smiled, and raised his glass in agreement with every cruel word. I refused to give them the satisfaction of seeing me cry. I calmly walked to the microphone and thanked my father-in-law for reminding everyone about charity. Then I revealed a truth that instantly changed the atmosphere. Only weeks earlier, I had secretly transferred $200,000 from my own business to save my husband's failing investment account from bankruptcy. Without my money, his family fortune would have collapsed. The laughter disappeared. Investors exchanged nervous glances, realizing the family they admired had been rescued by the very woman they had mocked only moments before. My husband completely lost control. His face turned bright red as he rushed across the ballroom. Before anyone could react, he slapped me with such force that I crashed into a towering champagne display. Hundreds of crystal glasses shattered around me as I hit the floor. Blood mixed with champagne while more than 600 guests watched in complete silence. Not one person stepped forward to help. I slowly stood, wiped the blood from my lip, and walked away with the only thing they could never take from me: my dignity, standing alone in the restroom. I stared at the bruise spreading across my face and finally accepted a painful truth. For 10 years, I had wasted my life trying to earn the respect of people who had already decided I would never be enough. At that moment, I reached into my purse, unlocked my phone, and called the one person I had avoided for an entire decade. When my father answered, I said only 3 words: "Dad, please come." After leaving the gala, I returned home hoping to collect my belongings and leave forever. Instead, I found that my husband had already changed the locks and packed everything I owned into garbage bags. While gathering my passport and personal documents, I discovered another woman's lingerie lying on our bed. Before I could leave, my husband arrived with his lawyer carrying divorce papers that would leave me with nothing. They mocked me, threatened endless lawsuits, and proudly claimed they had already transferred my money beyond my reach. They believed I was completely powerless. Instead of signing, I tore the papers in half and dropped them at their feet. Furious, my husband dragged me outside and threw me into the freezing rain, convinced I had nowhere else to go and no one willing to help me. Only seconds later, 3 black luxury SUVs pulled up in front of the house. Security guards stepped out before opening the rear door for one man. My father calmly walked toward me, removed his expensive coat, placed it over my shoulders, looked at the bruise on my face, and quietly said, "Their game is over." My husband laughed because he assumed my father was simply another wealthy businessman. He had absolutely no idea he was looking at one of the most powerful men in the financial world. The truth was something I had hidden throughout my entire marriage. My father was the billionaire founder of one of the largest financial empires in the country. Years earlier, I had walked away from that life because I wanted to build my own future without relying on my family name. I wanted someone to love me for who I was, not because of the fortune behind my last name. Instead, I married a man who cared more about appearances than loyalty. Once I arrived at my father's headquarters, everything changed. His team uncovered evidence proving my husband, his father, and their lawyer had stolen my savings, hidden money through shell companies, manipulated client accounts, and committed massive financial fraud just to keep their business alive. Their empire was drowning in debt, and the only thing keeping them afloat was a desperate attempt to secure a $150 million bailout. The greatest irony was that the company they were begging for help belonged to my father, and I had just accepted a senior executive position there. They believed they were walking into a meeting that would save their collapsing empire. In reality, they were walking directly into the trap I had carefully prepared for them. While they celebrated what they believed was their victory, they spread lies about me, destroyed my professional reputation, and told everyone I was a gold digger who had lost everything. My husband even texted me proudly claiming I would die broke, alone, and forgotten. What he did not know was that my father's financial investigators had already traced every illegal transaction, frozen every major account, and gathered enough evidence to bring their entire empire crashing down. They believed humiliating me was the end of my story. In reality, it was only the beginning. The slap that they thought would break me became the mistake that destroyed everything they had spent a lifetime building. Sometimes karma does not arrive with anger or revenge. Sometimes it arrives quietly, carrying the truth, and leaves with everything the guilty thought they would keep forever.